us. Here are the headlines. Prime Minister backs U.S. military action against cartels. Pioneers in excellence. Tobago students honored. Intruder sexually assaults pensioner in Princestown. And internationally, Typhoon Kajiki forces mass evacuations in Vietnam. Now for the details. Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar says TNT fully supports the U.S. government's deployment of military assets to destroy terrorist drug cartels operating in the southern region. Her comments came on the eve of the arrival in southern Caribbean waters of 3 U.S. naval destroyers and a nuclear submarine. The deployment would see the arrival of more than 4,000 Marines and sailors as part of an exercise to target drug cartels. She said the U.S. has made no request for its military assets to use TNT for any military action against Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro's government. But Persad-Bissessar warned the Venezuelan government that TNT would be prepared to give the U.S. access to its territory should Venezuela invade Guyana. In a statement issued by the Office of the Prime Minister on August 23rd, Persad-Bissessar said the only persons who should be worried about the activity of the U.S. military are those engaged in or enabling criminal activity. The Tobago House of Assembly has recognized the island's top performers in the 2025 SEA exams, as well as students who made the 2024 CSEC and Cape Merit lists. At the Pioneers in Excellence ceremony, Secretary of Education Zorisha Hackett praised the honorees as proof that Tobago's youth are capable of greatness. Future Speaker Ann Therium Lewis, who earned 12 grade 1s at CSEC this year, encouraged the students to embrace balance, discipline, and community service as part of their journey to excellence. Among those honored were SEA students Say Shelley Duncan, Kylie Charles, Zaid Ewing, Demarcus Walcott, and Janaya Waldron. An elderly woman was sexually assaulted and robbed by an intruder at her Princestown home on Saturday morning. The victim told police that she had locked and secured her home and retired to bed, but was awoken by a male suspect armed with a kitchen knife at around 1:30 a.m. The man, whom she described to police as being of fair complexion, slim build, a tattoo on his arm, clean-shaven with straight black hairstyle with a fade, began touching her inappropriately and then sexually assaulted her against her will before escaping. Her home, she told police, had been ransacked and its metal burglar-proof gate bent. Her cell phone was also discovered missing. Officers attached to the Princestown police station visited the scene and checked for the suspect without success. They also identified locations with CCTV footage. The victim was examined at the Princestown Health Facility. Investigations are ongoing. Internationally, Typhoon Kajiki has battered Vietnam's central provinces with strong winds and heavy rain, forcing nearly 600,000 people to evacuate. The storm, with wind speeds topping 130 kilometers an hour, has been compared to last year's deadly Typhoon Yagi, though it has weakened slightly since making landfall. Authorities suspended flights, train services, and road travel in several provinces, while Thailand has also issued weather alerts for 58 provinces as the storm moves westward, warning of flash floods and landslides. Well, that's news to the hour on WESN. I'm Naomi McNish. Thanks for watching.
WESN.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, The Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378 or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
Do you need treatment for obesity or any related abdominal procedures? The community hospital now offers minimally invasive laparoscopic surgery done by an American-trained, board-certified surgeon with over 20 years' experience. Give us a call at 235-5479 for more information.
The Community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist,
where good private health care is affordable.
Low energy? Heart concerns? Migraines slowing you down? It's time to take control of your health. Join Wellness Unlocked, the series that brings expert advice and real solutions for a healthier you. In our latest episode, learn how Jameson CoQ10 can help support heart health, boost energy, and even reduce migraines. Get the science, the stories, and the steps to power up your health with CoQ10. Don't miss Wellness Unlocked. Watch now on WESN and start your wellness journey today.
Advanced Solutions Technical Institute isn't just about courses, it's about creating futures. We serve every learner, from the new graduate to the seasoned professional, with engaging, supportive staff and tailored learning plans. Study in the way that works for you and gain skills in business, security, finance, telecoms, fiber optics, and beyond. ASTI, training tomorrow's leaders today.
KDM Health Limited says, test yourself for STDs in the privacy of your own home. Our self-help test kits for all STDs are available at our wholesale office in Chaguanas. Call 283-1423, visit our website at www.kdmhealtht.com. or email us at kdmhealthlimited@gmail.com to place your orders. Available at all health institutions and pharmacies. Contact us for a free list of products and prices.
Our award-winning show is back, and this season promises to be even more exciting than before. What's Up, Doc isn't just a title. It's a call to action for anyone who wants to improve their health and well-being. Join us on this thrilling ride towards better health on WESN Content Capital.
Money is something we all deal with, but how many of us truly understand it? What if you could make better decisions with your money? Decisions that secure your future, protect your family, and bring you peace of mind. I'm Darren Jacobs, and I'm here to help you make sense of your dollars. Welcome to Dollars and Cents, the show that breaks down the financial world in ways that matter to you. No jargon, no confusion, just real conversations about money, your money. So join me every Wednesday at 10 a.m. on WESN for Dollars and Cents.
Pastor J, I want to get a tattoo.
You really
respond to me. Respond to me how you would respond to me.
The first question I'll ask is why?
Controversial taboo topics.
We get so consumed by church, we forget that we have to live the life of being a Christian outside of the Sunday.
Like you say,
services, yeah.
we think going to a service makes us a Christian.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right. So here we are about to hear the second time Pastor J wanted to take a tattoo.
Would have been late last year and early this year.
Oh gosh.
Hope Unfiltered podcast with Pastor J and Ren.
As always, we appreciate you starting your day with us. Let's get into this morning's first conversation.
Is the country's healthcare system more at risk more than ever?
Why it has remained unaddressed for so long.
Political parties get lots of cash, big cash from financiers, and then when they get that now, you can't account for it.
But it's really the specialist nurses who we are in a greater shortfall for.
We can tap into the resources and have them, at least form some mentorship programs.
Highlight our food systems, and which will attract persons from all over the world to come and experience something that actually supports the local economy.
We're lucky that we have a vibrant legal system that allows change to take place, and it's not that matters are just swept under the carpet and discrimination is allowed to be perpetrated.
A lot of people don't know that, there were attempts to ban the carnival, suppress the carnival.
This is Face of Sports, WESN Content Capital. How you felt about the kiss on the lip?
That's the business. I'm not to do with that.
I find that was distasteful.
The national senior team, whether you like it or not, that is the model for all other teams to follow.
I'm assuming that the regional requirement may be a much stricter requirement.
This is not about Pro League and Super League. This is a league run by the Normalization Committee that I'm responsible for.
Nobody expected FIFA to fund this arrangement.
If we don't get a professional attitude towards this, we are doomed for failure.
You break the balance, trip the leg, control the body.
They ain't gonna stand put forever.
Why you want the Chiefs to lose so? Why you want the Chiefs to lose so?
They already have two. Lamar don't
Why?
have.
You're jealous because you know the Chiefs getting closer to the Patriots. Let's go to the last part. Let's go to the last part.
We are tackling the hard-hitting topics, some controversial topics, some topics we sweep under the rug. You don't always have to forgive in a relationship for it to move forward.
If it is you are in a situation where you forgive the person, but to the detriment of yourself, what are you really doing?
It is very uncommon for somebody in the younger age group to have dementia.
Atheists don't not believe.
Is that I can't disprove God, but you also can't prove God, so we cannot have a stalemate.
We'll focus on the woman who's being the victim,
right,
or the man who's being the victim. We exclude the children.
Folks are trying to study the underlying brain mechanism to figure out how does this particular disorder happen in the brain? How is the brain processing this?
Don't worry about AI, worry about humans working with AI.
Are you willing to learn new skills to stay relevant for the future job market? That's the challenge that people are going to struggle with.
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
This is 10 Questions. I'm Andy Johnson. The distance from where we should be in the world in going forward on our commitments with climate change.
The effects of climate change that cannot be accounted for, it's called loss and damage, and we're seeing loss and damage happening so much more in this decade and the previous decade.
The principal term there was this question of the correspondent banking issues.
That is why we're trying to build capacity with this country here, Trinidad and Tobago, and other countries in the region. Man is not showing any signs of stopping or even slowing down. More than half of the forest in Trinidad is already gone.
All the plants and all the animals and all of the nice clean water and fresh air and everything had to be on this planet for humanity to have a chance.
We have small change when it comes to countries that can take decisions, and when they speak, the world listens.
The General Assembly is a very democratic forum. And Trinidad and Tobago has the same vote as Canada, in spite of the obvious difference in size.
WESN.
Good morning and welcome to AM Prime on WESN. I am your host, Jada McLeod, and we are awaiting Naomi to come on and join us on the program today. So today we're talking all things politics. So just to jump straight into it, the country is preparing and waiting to hear how this government plans to address our economic and social challenges with the upcoming national budget, much anticipated national budget. This will be the first budget presented by the UNC government of this tenure, from manifesto promises to what's actually being reported, said and done. Issues like the cost of living, foreign exchange, jobs, education, and national security. There's plenty to discuss and debate on the table. Joining us today is no stranger to AM Prime, Mr. Chris Hossain, a youth parliamentarian, well-versed in the topics of both politics and the economy, to share some insights with us today. So good morning and welcome to the program, Chris.
Good morning, Jada, and of course, good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. I'm very pleased to be here on a very Tuesday, bright, no traffic morning. I got no traffic to come up to Port of Spain this morning, so I'm even more delighted to be here.
That's beautiful. As I always ask people, like, how was the drive up?
It was fine.
Yeah, for me, usually it's good, but today I had some resistance on the road. Honestly, as a girl, I feel like nobody should be on the road when I'm driving. Is that too much?
No, not at all.
No.
Not at all. Maybe that should be in the budget.
Exactly. So let's jump straight into it, because I feel like when I think about the budget, I think, oh, we're here again. Let's see what's going to come again. You know, what are we going to debate, or what's going to be given to us? What are we going to have to beg for? What scraps we're going to have to beg for? So looking back at the government's manifesto, let's start there. What are some of the key promises that stood out to you when you first read it?
Well, of course, beyond the manifesto, and I want to, set the tone in how I approach at least this new administration, because it's no secret, Jada, that I was extremely opinionated, as many young advocates are, with our previous administration, and so I intend to be the same with this. What I will say is this government would have spent 10 years in opposition. And so they got a very good opportunity to understand the ills of Trinidad and Tobago from that point of view. And in their manner or way, the election went their way. And so the people of Trinidad and Tobago would have, through our Westminster system, voted in this government based on a plan. And so some of the things that stood out to me would have been, and I believe the Honorable Prime Minister in her victory speech would have spoken about it, increased wages for the public sector, public servants. We would have seen the unions join the United National Congress along the campaign trails, speaking about starting negotiations at 10%. We also heard conversation about expanding GATE. And I'd remind you that As a young professional still, yes, I have an undergraduate, but of course I'm also looking to pursue a postgrad. And so when you look at the previous administration, you were allowed to utilize GATE up to your bachelor degree.
Yes.
And so when you speak about reopening GATE or removing the padlock on GATE, then one is to believe that you are speaking about expanding the program to perhaps maybe postgrads or even removing the means test. We would have heard discussions about laptops for all students. We would have heard lower food prices. We would have heard a number of things that would have come out of that. Of course, security. That was a major issue for the Trinbagonian population in voting in this election. And, well, this election, in that election. And so, seeing how the government is going to treat with this via a budget is going to be very interesting.
So some of the things that would have stood out to me specifically was when they were talking about youth development, because I mean, as we're here, we're both youth parliamentarians. We both understand the importance of having a voice in politics and how important it can be. People are listening and they want to hear ideas and maybe turn it into policy in some sense. But to an extent, have you heard anything about any sort of not policies, but just initiatives for youth development in Trinidad and Tobago by this government?
Well, I don't want to be a bit premature because let me explain what I mean by that. This is this administration's first budget presentation to the population. I believe it is in about a month, if I'm correct. Usually it's around, yeah. And one of the interesting things, again, about this administration being in opposition prior to the election, and I would have agreed with them on this, would have been how we utilize our spend. How are we prioritizing our monies? And sometimes money isn't always the issue. It is how you invest it and the ROIs and the data. Are we measuring our data? What policies are in place? So I'm looking, you speak about youth, I'm looking to hear from the line minister. I believe the minister that would fall under sport now. I'm looking for the line minister. And I think there's an aspect of youth if we go into education and if we also go into tertiary education. So I'm looking for these ministers to give us a recap of the previous administration, because there must have been something that was good.
Yeah.
There must have been something that worked. And so the data must support us or support them in making those particular arguments. And let's keep what's good. And also I want to see them set the tone for their administration. And so that is where I would be able to determine the question that you're asking me, if you're serious about youth development, and I'll see that through the budget.
Yes. So I'm going to jump off of host for a second and jump into some sort of debater persona. When it comes to this particular government's, their approach to kind of branding themselves. Everything in life is branding. It's how you present yourself. Yes. I don't necessarily feel I don't necessarily feel like I understand what it is that they're about. Because yes, they haven't been here too long, but I feel like the honeymoon period is over.
It's over 100 days.
Yes. And whatever, we allow them afterwards for whatever. I feel like I don't understand what it is they're committed to. Some of the ministries are doing really great work. I can give props to Ms. Khadija. I mean, I feel like her ministry has been very vocal and very communicative with the public. But then you have other ministries, specifically the Ministry of Implementation and Artificial Intelligence, Public Administration and Artificial Intelligence, where I feel like the communication hasn't been as great as it should be. And where I'm going with this is, I don't understand where this government is heading. Can you help me out here?
Yeah. I mean, the debate about a honeymoon period is something that always, I don't know if the correct word is irk me, but it's a continuous conversation that maybe we should really have a debate on. Because in any incoming administration, I think the question is, well, how much more time until we actually see the delivery?
Or just plans?
I would view this via the budget, and I'll tell you why I'll view this via the budget. Because you see, in the budget, you are allowed full control, the Minister of Finance, full control over how you decide to prioritize our limited funds. And let us not forget that we have limited funds. And how you decide to prioritize that. And based on those allocations, we'll drill down into the yellow box. We will know not just the tone, the seriousness of the administration, and the commitment to national development. And I think that is how best I would be able to determine that. So I'm really excited about the budget to see that. You speak about Ministry of Public Admin and AI. I mean, I was very, I think the best word is excited to see the new minister in that position. If you know his actual background, it is in technology. So I found that to be a good fit. Again, I'm looking forward to his contribution to see how he's going to utilize this new portfolio. Because we're accustomed to knowing what public administration is throughout the public sector, etc. But the AI aspect, so I share your concern in that I'm looking forward to hearing and seeing how they spend our monies. And I want to tell Trinidad and Tobago that this is our money. So never forget that, because earlier in prompting this interview, you spoke about the wording. And maybe we conditioned to believe we're begging. We're not begging. We're not begging.
I like that you raised it, but I'm going to say about that and go on to, right now we want to talk about budgets. We want to talk about not necessarily what we, after the budget, but before the budget. So we have issues like the rising cost of living and the foreign exchange shortages and unemployment. Can you tell me which one you think needs the most urgent attention?
Wow.
Out of those three.
I think each one equally needs attention, and I do believe that we can, walk and chew gum at the same time, Jada.
Have you proven that?
I think one of the things that I agreed with this current administration on when they sat in opposition was we can be more innovative. And so innovation, and we are Trinbagonian populace, we are, I think, very talented. We have some of the most brilliant minds in the world. And so I definitely think we can find the answers for the solutions. It's about having the best people put forward to find those answers. So I think the government ought to focus on being innovative during this period, as they would have criticized the PNM administration when they were government just a couple months ago. So I'm looking forward to innovation, to be able to course correct some of the issues, because I do think we can attack all and not just some.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the manifesto here that they would have put forward. And I'm seeing, okay, is it realistic just to think that they are going to achieve almost all of their promises in the manifesto?
I don't think in the first budget we shall see everything focused on. I don't think we would see everything focused on in the first budget, and I don't expect. But I expect to see some new direction going forward. And at least that will give the population, and of course me, a little bit more hope. And also more confidence, because you want to have continued confidence and political capital with the people of Trinidad and Tobago, not just for the next 5 years, but this is a government, let's not forget, it's a political party. Political parties are interested in winning elections. And so we have a local government election coming up. We have a THA election coming up. And so based on this budget, people are going to make their decisions. And you don't want to rub people the wrong way now, do you?
I wonder, because yes, we want to focus on the fact that it is the first budget, and we want to give them, time to establish themselves. I guess that is fair. But I think my issue is that, same as the last government had 10 years in power, you had 10 years in opposition. You weren't off doing, God knows what. You knew what you were doing. You were in opposition. You were debating. You were, you've been antagonistic to a certain extent, which is your job. So you also had time to prepare. You also had time to meet with key stakeholders. You also had time to talk with the public about what it is that they actually need. And I remember during the last election, we would have had certain hopeful ministers and now MPs and now ministers to sit and tell us what their hope for their constituency was and what their hope for Trinidad and Tobago was. And that would have inspired some hope, at least in me. But I can be a very impatient person. I want to see some of the promises that they spoke about here, or the ones that they spoke about here, translated to their actual job. So here we're talking about the education system. Let's focus on it. We saw for student support, provision of tablets and laptops. Have they said how they were going to do that, if they're going to do like a private partnership? Or are we just expected to hear that, in the budget? So we just all tuned in for the budget and there's no...
So all of these arrangements, financial arrangements, are supposed to be in our budget. Of course, in the yellow books, and there is the Standing Finance Committee where the opposition will be allowed to drill down into the actual line-by-line item. So I do think that the opportunity for accountability and transparency is built into our system via the Parliament. I'm looking forward to that aspect, actually.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm looking forward to it, Jada, because in the opposition specifically, we have well-experienced ministers who sat in government for 10 years. And it's just a few months ago they sat on the other side of the House. So that's going to be an interesting process for the government, and I look forward to it. When we speak about the education system, the education sector has gotten sometimes, I think maybe in the past 5 years, the largest piece of the pie. Yeah. And one of the issues that we faced in the education system was, or is, how are we really preparing our young people for the working world of tomorrow, today and tomorrow specifically? And so AI, as we spoke about AI earlier on, how are we going to utilize artificial intelligence with the human intelligence? And are we preparing our young people for the jobs that will exist in 2040, 2035, 2050? And I think those are the things that will obviously take time, because there's going to be some reform to the curriculum if we're discussing that. It's going to take political will, but it's also going to take innovation. And I think that if you're coming in to fix a system that we all know can do with some fixes, right? Then get it done. And I want to also say that the UNC campaigned, they said that when the UNC wins, everybody wins. And so that is something that has been etched in the people of Trinidad and Tobago's mind. I mean, I still see it on social media daily. And so I do think that when the budget is read, we are supposed to feel like we all won in this, at least with this government. We're supposed to feel that way. And I think that would be one of the ways that I would also determine success.
Does the government get to drop any sort of, Easter bunnies or Easter eggs, if something beforehand, before the budget is presented?
Well, right now, I understand that the United National Congress, because the government is they have a political party, obviously, and so they are doing their consultations, pre-budget consultations, and I also believe they're doing their stand your ground bill consultations. And so that's an essential part of any working democracy, that we consult with the people to ensure that the policy that we're putting forward really is because it's representative politics in representation of the people. The only thing, though, that may be concerning, for some persons, they may be uncomfortable in attending an event that is under a political banner. And I know that is not an issue that is only related to the UNC, but I also know it's an issue related to the PNM. And so those are considerations that political parties will have to make when having any sort of consultation or when having any sort of conversation. I will remind you,
嗯
that under the PNM, when they were in government, they had, I believe, Prime Minister's questions. So it was an open forum. Under the opposition, when the UNC sat in opposition, they also had budget conversations under the office of the leader of the opposition. So utilizing the office that you're elected into or somewhat appointed into, if it's a ministry, I think it's also important to have conversations through there to allow the people of Trinidad and Tobago, some of them, to feel a bit more comfortable in coming forward and putting their concerns to you.
Yeah. I mean, I hear what you're saying, and I get the general consensus is we can't anticipate. We can anticipate, but we can't expect much right now because, I mean, the budget still has to be presented. I guess where my intention lies is that I'm excited to hear where it is that our plans go. What are our plans in general? So let's move away from youth, move away from artificial intelligence, and let's go into energy, right? And the crux of the matter right now is that we're trying to move away from. We want to move away, or people suggest that we move away from oil and gas and we go into some sort of diversification of economy, whether it be agriculture, whether it be tourism. How do you feel about the complete cutting away or moving away from oil and gas?
So first of all, I think we have transitioned from the oil industry to a more gas processing industry. So I do think we have diversified the hydrocarbon sector away from oil to gas. When you invest in the hydrocarbons, because we are limited in terms of our human capital and of course our resources, financial resources, there's an investment and ROI that we would look at. And so it is a bit difficult to say that we'll just turn off the button of, or the switch of the oil and gas sector and switch over to the renewable sectors. Not that easy. Of course, you're looking at a number of evaluations must be done, surveys would have to be done, etc., to, you know, figure out, if that's the best way to put it, which type of renewable energy that we would like to use. If it's wind, if it's geothermal, if it's solar, if it's hydro, where will this be placed? Who is financing it? You know, and so that kind of conversation is one that we should have, by the way. In the previous administration, I heard conversations about it. I expect that in this new administration, there would be more about it moving forward. But I don't think it's a switch. I think it's more of a transition into the renewables. But we have been in the oil and gas sector for many years, Jade, and I don't think we're really going to change.
Exactly.
But I think the crux of the matter here is how do we get more revenue as a country? How do we get more money? How do we get more forex into the country?
A side hustle.
Side hustle. Agriculture is a great space for that. We all know that food security has been a big priority of the UN. If I'm not mistaken, the UNDP as well, sustainable goals. And food security is not just about being able to produce healthy food, but it's also being able to feed your population the healthy food as well. And so I think that that is something that this government should focus on. I heard conversations about it in the previous administration. I also heard conversations about it with this administration about a month ago as well. And so I'm looking forward. I believe in the Prime Minister's Moody's visit to Trinidad and Tobago, there were conversations coming out about processing for, equipment and that nature of that kind of thing. And so I'm looking forward again to hear more about the agriculture sector. So you speak about the agriculture sector, renewables, and the orange economy, Jada. So what is brand Trinidad and Tobago? I mean, right now, I believe Carrie Festa is going on in Barbados, and we would have sent a delegation, the Ministry of Culture and Community Development would have sent a delegation. And so I just want to take this opportunity to wish our country and wish the ministry and wish the delegation all the best. I have seen some of the things via social media and they're doing some great work over there. And what have we identified what is the brand Trinidad and Tobago? What does that model look like? I mean, I've spoken about this on various fora. We have the carnival industry. Are we really utilizing the most out of the industry? I mean, let's be honest, Trinidad and Tobago, we tell the world what carnival would look like. We tell them what it sounds like. And that aspect, we definitely need to drill down in it, invest in it in a serious manner, and create an actual working business model. But you know what it takes, Jada? It's going to take us identifying what are our outcomes. What is the outcome that we're trying to achieve here? And if we can identify the outcome, then I definitely think we need to figure out the causes.
So going back to the question about agro-processing, going back to that, do you think that people would support local, like would buy local if we say, and this is all in hypothesis, if we shut off imports and it was only our farmers growing what we needed, do you think people would make that switch? Okay, we would have to, but make that switch to support local?
Well, I think some things, I mean, there's an incentive.
The reason why I would say that is because I cannot remember, I was looking for that, who would have said it, but somebody high up in the government would have mentioned that the reason why the import bill is so high is because people, no matter what tariffs you put on it, people would still import. They wouldn't stay away from that. They would still import, even though we have the supplemental local farming, agriculture, whatever it may be that you want to use. People still import over using local. So that's the reason why I would have brought that up.
Well, based on what you're telling me here, which I've heard conversations about that already, and I've always, the one thing I think of is the quality of the item, really. What is the quality that they are getting? You know, not that doesn't exist in Trinidad and Tobago. What's so great about it, and how can we also mimic or even do that? And so it takes supporting our farmers. It takes supporting the manufacturing sector, which, by the way, has seen some growth. So I expect to see exponential growth in the manufacturing sector as well. And we need to support our farmers, Jada. We need to, in a realistic way, right? I mean, they have been speaking about land tenure. They're speaking about predial larceny. They're speaking about, I mean, if you listen to the agriculture experts, not me, but the experts, you know, those are the ills. They speak about flooding. So if we can assist our farmers in the best way, I think they would be able to not just produce better products, but better quality, but also we need to be more innovative, Jada. We need to be more innovative. If it is we recognize that abroad, this is the taste that is, you know, preferred,
desired,
or, you know, or the texture, let's get that done here, you know, and let's market that here and in the region and make some money off of it.
So, yeah. And I recently heard this quote that, you know, right now Trinidad businesses, we don't just want to go local, we want to go global, because we have access to that. And I don't think many business owners fully realize that, you know, your next step isn't just, you know, if you're in Mova, Tunapuna, Trinity, Las Lomas or whatever, your next step is Tennessee. It's I don't know, Worcestershire, one of those places in Wales or England or whatever. But your next step is global. So budgets aren't just economic though. They carry political weight. So how do you think this one is going to influence public perception, not just how the citizens view the government, but international perception? Because that's a big question right now, how the rest of the international community views our government, our country.
Yes. And what a time to answer a question like that, Jada.
What a time, Chris.
Again, knowing that this present administration sat in opposition for 10 years, knowing that their talking points focused on the government needs to be more innovative, the government needs to stop complaining. I remembered, actually, when the People's National Movement, Dr. Rowley became the Prime Minister, we went into this whole recession, banya belly kind of talk. Let's be very honest, Trinidad and Tobago. And so I remembered then and there, right around that period, I did use Parliament, by the way. And so it forced me to do some research into debate. And so as young as I would have been back then, I was interested in knowing, well, what were they speaking about 3 years ago? And coming into this space, you're going to be viewed, and they may feel it is unfair, but a little more harsh than the people would have had patience with the PNM for. And I'll say they spoke about being innovative. They spoke about prioritizing your spend. They spoke about focusing on education and reopening gate laptops for all. They spoke about the security sector, national security, intelligence. They spoke about CARICOM. They spoke about so many things, the energy sector, social. There wasn't anything that the UNC did not have an opinion or an alternative view on.
That's the thing, they always had a plan, like something to supplement what the in-power government was doing.
And so now you sit in the seat of government. So now it's, I'm not going to say it's an easy job, but it's time to execute.
The pressure is on.
The pressure is on. And I think the people of Trinidad and Tobago will be looking on. They also got, let's not fool ourselves here. I think they have 26 seats out of 41. That's a lot.
They were given a fair chance.
Yeah, that's a good mandate. I mean, you know, it's not to say you don't have the support of the people of the country, at least through the election, but you want to have continued support, and we'll be able to best judge them. So the question about how I think persons will judge them, that is based on what they put forward for us in this budget.
Moving on to, say, go back to the international community and how they view us. I mean, we're in a sort of, I wouldn't say a mess, but it could become a possible mess. You know, the USA wanting to deploy troops in Venezuelan waters, which of course is near our waters. It's going to be our waters essentially. Our response to that, which side we take, do we? The current government has, stood up and of course taken the side of the U.S. and should allow the U.S. to do the way I read it, do whatever it is that they wanted to do. But in that, we also heard the U.S. Vice President, what's his name? I cannot remember his name off the top of my head. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Me neither.
And I knew it, Anyway, JD Vance. Say, compare horrible levels of crime to Trinidad and Tobago. He singled us out. So hearing those things and then hearing the Prime Minister, have so much support for the U.S. kind of forced us to ask, who's the fool? And I know you kind of gave him a little smile there. You probably don't want to laugh, which is fine. But it made me feel as though, why are we sucking up to the U.S. at this current point? Especially when we're at a time where there's a lot of hostility with our neighbors, between Guyana, between Venezuela, and now the U.S. is inserting themselves in it. So I just wanted to kind of get your take on how the international community would view Trinidad and Tobago based on what you're seeing going on in the world.
Well, we are in very interesting times globally. And we must recognize how any sort of conflict affects many things throughout the world. We're speaking about oil and gas prices. We're speaking about supply chain issues. So I think any government has to be very prudent in its approach. In every decision they take that will involve the people of Trinidad and Tobago, because they're acting on our behalf.
Exactly.
And so I think they have to be very, very careful. And so good advice is what is always needed in situations like this. I know that usually that, we belong to CARICOM. And so perhaps the conversation is not over, Jada.
It is not.
It isn't over. So I'm looking forward to hear what some of the other nations within the CARICOM region will have to say on this. I mean, Trinidad and Tobago, via our government, has put forward our position on it. And as I said earlier on, we need to be very careful and prudent in our approach, especially when we approach geopolitics.
Indeed. So yes, we are excited to hear what the budget has in store for us. So Chris, you become Prime Minister tomorrow. Budget is a month away. How are you prepping your government?
Well, if I become Prime Minister, so first things first, Prime Minister tomorrow, and budget is a month away.
Yay, congratulations.
Thank you. First things first, I'm picking one of the best Minister of Finance I could find in the world. in the world. Really, Trinidad and Tobago. Because really your Minister of Finance, that's, your Ministry of Finance and Ministry of Planning. They are really the ones that I find most involved in the budget prep. So that is what I would do, ensure that I have a really, really good, because I view a Prime Minister not just as you're supposed to be a good leader, but also you're supposed to pick competent persons to run the government. Yeah. And so if I were the Prime Minister, me, Chris, that is the first thing I'll do. I'll have to pick up Minister of Finance and a Minister of Planning. Yeah.
What would be at the top of your policy agenda?
So right now, I think we would be looking at how we can increase our revenue. So Ministry of Energy, my Minister of Energy would have to do some really, really good work in terms of negotiation. So I'd be looking at that as well. So energy would be a top priority for me. Agriculture would be a top priority for me, because I'd really be looking at how we can increase our revenue as a country, because that really should be on our agenda. Of course, education would be there, because you want to really be able to train your, and upskill and educate the human capital, because the best investment you can make, or one of the better investments, is in your people. The problem we have had in this country would be that after we have spent so much money, are we really seeing a return on investment? And a return on investment is not only money, but are our persons being retained within the public sector? Are they being retained within the private sector, given the amount of billions of dollars that we have spent in investing in them through their education?
And their upskilling and maintenance. So before we end, I just wanted to throw out this question in regards to foreign exchange. I would have heard that the reason why we're kind of suffering right now in our foreign exchange bank is because there's just a multitude, there's just more people going away and spending, the US or what have you. So there's more people accessing the bank, accessing the foreign exchange, so it runs, it's depleted quicker than they would have thought, and maybe they haven't gotten enough to replenish. So that's where we're at right now when it comes to foreign exchange. But if it is that we need more, I don't understand the economics of the situation. I'll be very, very honest. I want to extend that question to you when it comes to foreign exchange. How do you think the government should prioritize that right now? Especially because it's not a matter of the past government didn't do anything. It's a matter of resource. So do you think that it should be a priority for them?
Well, I definitely think it should be a priority for them. But I do think it will be a priority for them when the government sat in opposition. I remembered that they had a big issue, and I agreed with them on this, in how the banks were allowing businesses to access US. And so I know that any political party that sat in opposition and said that when getting into government should fix it. So I'm looking forward to that as well.
So I love how you ended that should get any party that comes into government should fix it, should fix the issues, and we're all excited and looking forward to seeing, what this government has in store for us in the upcoming budget. It's supposed to fall between the end of September, around there, maybe going into October. So we look forward to that, and we will continue with our budget conversations, what to expect, what we don't want. We'll also take a deep dive look into what the past couple of budgets by the last government would have been like, and compare it to what what it is we want to see by this government, especially as because, you know, something that Chris would have mentioned, that this government, when they were in opposition, were pretty vocal. So we want to see them sing. Why? No, I love my little ironic jokes. So yes, we want to see them sing when it is they are in government and they present that budget to us. So thank you, Chris, for coming on and sharing your insights.
Thank you for having me, and of course, I want to wish you a great day, and of course, Trinidad and Tobago, I want to wish all of you a very productive day and a week ahead. Good morning.
Absolutely a pleasure. So stay with us. We'll be right back with you. We have more in store for you, AM Prime family, so stay with us.
Bill and Ruth fell in love with the Benjamin Moore color Dry Sage, but they tried to match it using another brand's paint.
I mean, it's close enough.
Almost identical, really. Yeah, there it is.
Never trust another paint to be a Benjamin Moore color.
Do you need treatment for obesity or any related abdominal procedures? The community hospital now offers minimally invasive laparoscopic surgery done by an American-trained, board-certified surgeon with over 20 years' experience. Give us a call at 235-5479 for more information.
The Community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist,
where good private health care is affordable.
Advanced Solutions Technical Institute isn't just about courses, it's about creating futures. We serve every learner, from the new graduate to the seasoned professional, with engaging, supportive staff and tailored learning plans. Study in the way that works for you and gain skills in business, security, finance, telecoms, fiber optics, and beyond. ASTI, training tomorrow's leaders today.
Low energy? Heart concerns? Migraines slowing you down? It's time to take control of your health. Join Wellness Unlocked, the series that brings expert advice and real solutions for a healthier you. In our latest episode, learn how Jameson CoQ10 can help support heart health, boost energy, and even reduce migraines. Get the science, the stories, and the steps to power up your health with CoQ10. Don't miss Wellness Unlocked. Watch now on WESN and start your wellness journey today.
KDM Health Limited says, test yourself for STDs in the privacy of your own home. Our self-help test kits for all STDs are available at our wholesale office in Chaguanas. Call 283-1423. Visit our website at www.kdmhealthtt.com. or email us at kdmhealthlimited@gmail.com to place your orders. Available at all health institutions and pharmacies. Contact us for a free list of products and prices. SM Group International Limited, your solutions partner for the latest innovations, brands, and competent staff to meet your needs. We provide products and services in the following divisions: executive services, event rental and services, power and heavy equipment, construction and property management, food and beverage, aggregate and sales and distribution. Check out more on our products and services at www.smgrouptt.com. Contact us at 221-7445 or email at info@smgrouptt.com. We are SM Group International, your solutions partner.
Money is something we all deal with, but how many of us truly understand it? What if you could make better decisions with your money? Decisions that secure your future, protect your family, and bring you peace of mind. I'm Darren Jacobs, and I'm here to help you make sense of your dollars. Welcome to Dollars and Cents, the show that breaks down the financial world in ways that matter to you. No jargon, no confusion, just real conversations about money, your money. So join me every Wednesday at 10 a.m. on WESN for Dollars and Cents.
You are watching Strictly Legal on WESN Content Capital. Just give an overview of what exactly is that split arrangement.
Nah, you don't need to register nothing. You don't need, we can do that another time. But then it becomes a hit, and then everybody starts to want to claim.
The laws that predate many of the independent countries' constitutions are going to be those colonial laws.
We know there are an infinite amount of circumstances that would lead to a murder.
I have a great idea and I have a great concept, but until it's actually expressed, it does not become intellectual property.
Accomplishments or targets of a forensic accountant is to quantify what may have been lost.
We believe in different criminals and we manipulated the law and we exploited the system.
A responsible journalist will reach out to the person who they have the information on for a comment.
Welcome back to the program this morning. So I am taking over for the rest of the show from Jada. Jumping into a conversation, this next conversation, this October, the Trinidad and Tobago Association of Psychologists will host the Trinidad and Tobago Mental Health Conference 2025 under the theme Breaking Barriers, Building Resilience, Mental Health for Tomorrow's Trinidad and Tobago. The event promises to bring together experts, advocates, and everyday citizens in a national effort to make mental health a top priority. So joining me on the program this morning is Danielle Placide. She's a family and emotional well-being counselor to discuss why this conference matters and how the public can benefit from getting involved. Good morning, Danielle.
Hi, good morning. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be in your presence, and we really do appreciate your openness to speak about mental health.
Yes.
And as you said, we do have our upcoming event, looking forward to, it's the first ever National Mental Health Conference and Awards ceremony in Trinidad. And it's expected to bring a difference, bring together professionals, advocates, policymakers, community leaders for a day of research, cultural connection, and hands-off workshop.
Yeah.
It's important because mental health touches every aspect of our lives, our families, our schools, our workplace, and community. And we see in Trinidad and Tobago, we see the effects of stress and trauma and crime rates, social change on people. So this conference is about breaking down that stigma,
right,
and overall strengthening the support system and showing that mental health is not just as important, it's important as physical health, and it's everybody's business. So we want to drive that message home to our country.
Yeah, the conference theme speaks about breaking barriers. Can you talk a little bit on what barriers are preventing people from getting the help that they need when it comes to mental health?
Definitely. We are expected to close the gap about, firstly, the perception about seeking mental health services. There's a stigma in our country, if I should put it this way. People think that you go for seek mental health because you're quote unquote crazy, but that's not it. We all have emotional experiences that we need to regulate, and we all need to talk to someone. We want to break the stigma of accessibility, community. We want to be able to say, listen, it's available to you, use it. We do experience stress on a daily basis. The stigma about men not seeking counseling, the stigma about not being able to see the importance of it throughout our country.
Yeah. When it comes to mental health, I believe a lot of people, see mental health as a private matter, and some people don't like to share. Sometimes it could be a bit uncomfortable to speak about your own personal mental health. Why do you think it's necessary to move this conversation into a public space, make it a public conversation rather than a private one?
I believe that we should be in a position to be comfortable, to not bring shame to persons seeking this, because our country does need it. Over the last few years, we have seen the impact of multiple stressors on family life, whether it be job loss, whether it be experiences persons would have personally on their lives. And we believe that this conversation should be public and should be normalized. Let me put it that way. It should be part of our culture, the awareness, especially around, as I said, our youth, our men, and everyone. It should be quite normal.
Yeah. From your perspective as a family and emotional well-being counselor, how does mental health ripple out to affect households, workplaces, and communities?
Oh, firstly, mental health will support you as an individual. When we experience difficult situations, we get disconnected from various realms, from dimensions of our lives. It affects us personally, physically, financially. It would affect your parenting, it affects your workplace productivity. And so if you seek mental health services, if you go to treat with your stresses, you will be a better parent, a better employee, just a better person overall, because you're able now to be emotionally regulated. You're able now to cope and to, develop tools and strategies to face life stresses, because the truth is, there are some things we can't avoid, but you will now be in a better position to cope and to thrive.
Yeah, understood. Tying it back into the conference now, what are or some of the key goals for this conference?
Our key objectives, one, of course, to bridge the service gap where we ensure mental health resources are accessible to all. Foster resilience by enabling individuals, communities, and systems to thrive under stress. We want to encourage collaboration across disciplines, institutions, and communities, and cultivate awareness as I said, throughout our country.
Mm-hmm. And can you speak about, I know you all have mentioned certain speakers, and can you tell us, give us any names of who we can expect at this conference?
Well, we are still in the process of, firming up some persons being a part of, because we have extended this invitation to all institutions that would lend support to us. But what can we expect in this would be research presentations, showcasing local and regional insights. We would definitely have panel discussion on pressing issues like culture and crime and family dynamics.
Yeah.
You're expected to have a cultural expressions as well. We love our cultural expressions, steel pan, tassa, and of course our awards ceremony.
Yeah. You would have mentioned this stigma, right, that we have here in Trinidad and Tobago when it comes to mental health. Can you touch on, or tell us now, how is this conference, the mental health conference, going to work on fighting against this stigma? What are some of the things that would be done during the conference that will help in dealing with the stigma?
Of course, when you attend the conference, it's expected to be educational and to provide not just the research, but information that would give us a better handle on stressors, better handle on things that the general public would face. And so through the discussions, as I said, through the panel discussions, interacting with persons who would be present, persons will get an opportunity now to learn and to be better equipped to handle their sphere, their circles.
Yeah. And okay, the conference itself, in terms of attendees, who are you targeting in terms of attending the conference?
Everyone. Everyone with an interest in mental health, and this includes not just psychologists or counselors, social workers, educators, medical professionals, community leaders, business leaders, faith leaders, even students. And why? Because we all would meet someone who would need some sort of support, and then we ourselves on a daily basis, I'm sure you would understand that it's not every day that life feels okay.
Yeah.
And we want to send a message home that it's okay not to be okay, but there is an association that can provide support to help you to be resilient. There is something for professionals and both the wider public.
Is there an age limit?
No. As long as you're interested in mental health and willing to learn, you are willing to come. We invite you to be there.
Right. So, I mean, beyond the conference, it's actually, before I get there, why now? Why did you all choose now? I know you mentioned this is the first ever conference like this. Where you're focusing on mental health. So why choose now, this year, this time, to host something like this?
There is always a need to discuss mental health. And I think there is a need to discuss it more. There are silent cries in pockets of our country that persons are crying out for help. And we know there is the stigma. But October is a very special time, not just for Trinidad, for the world, celebrating the World Mental Health Day on October 10th. So it's only fitting the day after the 11th that we celebrate and bring honor to those who have been adding value to mental health and just to persons to be more exposed about this conversation.
Yeah. And are you all putting things in place for persons who, let's say, would like to attend the event but are unable to still benefit from it?
As I said, we're currently in discussions about it, and if not, I'm willing to take that conversation back to the table to ensure that everyone can benefit from this experience.
Yeah, I think that would be a really a good thing to consider, because there might be people who, listening and find it interesting and would like to be there, but, you know, things happen.
definitely. I get that. Thank you for that.
Of course. So, all right, beyond, going back to my other question, beyond the event itself, what impact do you hope the conference will have on shaping mental health awareness and even policy in Trinidad and Tobago?
It's a hope that this conference becomes a turning point where mental health is prioritized at every level of society. We want to see stronger systems, deeper collaborations, and more open conversations. It must be so natural to have these conversations. It shouldn't just be where you can go to a private institution, or even it should be so natural in our schools and our churches. We must be able to create that space, that safe space, that non-judgmental experience where persons can say, hey, I'm not doing well today. It's not just about a sick leave, but I do want a mental health day. It's about laying the foundation for a mentally healthier Trinidad and Tobago now and for the future generations.
Mm-hmm. Do you think, I have this idea that when it comes to mental health, not everybody understands fully, you know, what's the extent of how serious your psyche is, you know, and how it can affect your function, your day-to-day. I mean, sometimes it leads to physical display of whatever you're feeling inside. Do you think it really comes down to just education and, you know, in order for us to really deal with the root causes of why we have bad mental health or why we feel certain emotions, it comes down to just education in itself about mental health?
No, practical stuff that we do on a daily basis, what you are exposed to, the environments that you are in can also impact your mental health. Personal life decisions can impact your mental health, and indirect things that happen to persons can do so. So when you are educated, of course, first point about the tools and strategies, at least you have something to work with. But just the general care about you as a person. And, you know, we want to normalize these conversations where people can understand. Just as you would have a physical wound and you would need to go treat with that at by a medical practitioner and take care of that. Let's say you have a broken bone. Our emotional and mental space needs caring for, and it needs intentional care as well, so that we can be generally function well as a person, and that we can show up not just for others but show up for ourselves too.
Yeah. So I'm intrigued, you would have mentioned the panel discussions and along with the various speakers, right? When it comes to those discussions, how is it going to be set up? What is the interaction level like? Is it just discussion and then the audience just listening in? Can the audience participate in these discussions? Have you all decided on the layout?
Thus far, yes, I can say the audience will be able to participate. Of course, it will start with the bridging, of course, starting with the conversation, and I'm sure we are going to open the space for persons to ask questions. Again, because it is a learning and growing and healing experience that we want to ensure happens. So questions will be honored.
Yeah. Is there a save the date yet, or a date has not been set?
Oh, it's the date has been set, October 11, 2025, 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Radisson Hotel, Port of Spain. We do have a special that's on by September 10th. If you decide to get your tickets, you can experience the individual early bird cost, which is $400. And you know, as a country, we love to get things that speak special.
Yeah.
And, you know, so the individual early bird price ends at September the 10th, and that's $400. If you miss that date, you have the regular price, which is $500. And then, of course, we have made it even easier for groups to attend. Groups of 4, it's a total of $1,700. So I want to encourage persons to grab the early bird price, September 10th.
I mean,
and save the date. right now. Put it on your calendar.
September 11th.
September 10th is for the early date.
Right.
Event, but October 11th, 2025, it's the event, 9:30 to 6 p.m. at the Radisson.
Yeah,
Hotel.
so that 9:30 to 6 p.m., I mean, that is a full day.
It's a full day
That
experience.
Is, yeah, you are there all day. So kind of break down the day for us. Let's give the viewers an idea of what we can expect the day today. How will the day run?
We, of course, the day would start with, we have an expo that we are inviting persons to participate, business persons to come and showcase. Then we would definitely move into the program itself by having a few discussions, the panel discussions. So as I said, we're going to discuss crime and aggression, cultural and Caribbean youth. We will also move into, we have performances, and we will also move into some further panel discussions. We look forward to also having the award ceremony as part of the program. So it's geared towards being very interactive, a nice smooth flow of the evening.
Right, the award ceremony, it wasn't mentioned before, so what exactly is that about?
The awards will be given out to persons who have really contributed to the mental health field and who have done work. We know there are people who champion this cause, and so we want to take the opportunity to honor them. We want to take the opportunity to let them know we appreciate their contribution to the mental health world.
Yeah, that's really nice. That's, are there any names that you can mention who might?
Not as yet.
Okay.
Not quite yet. Maybe we can get an interview part 2 and we can come back and expose those names, but we're looking forward. And we are also inviting you to participate and to be to join with us.
Nice. Yeah, that can be considered.
That's good.
So, for someone watching this morning who may be hesitant about therapy or counseling, because I think it's changing a bit now, but one of the things that the stigmas we had in Trinidad was about therapy, and I think people found therapy is not for everyone, or therapy doesn't make sense. Like, why would you go and talk to a stranger about your problems? Or, you know, there's always that kind of that opinion, right? Or idea of therapy is not a Caribbean thing. Although I do believe that it is changing and people are opening up a little bit more when it comes to therapy. But what would you say to them, to somebody who's hesitant about it or still has that mindset that therapy is not a Caribbean thing?
First, I would say try it. You may like it. Mental health matters because it's the foundation of our everyday lives. When our minds are well, we cope better with stress. We build stronger relationships. You are able to make healthier choices. Without it, everything else, family, work, even your physical health becomes harder to manage. And for the person who, it's a valid fear that persons would have, because we are not taught it's not part of our culture to be vulnerable and to be open easily. You know, it's about, you know, your business. But the truth is, we weren't designed to do life alone. We were designed to be part of community, and community heals. And not everybody deserves to be exposed to what you are facing, but in the right space, you would definitely be able to be vulnerable and to feel safe and that non-judgmental and get help.
Yeah.
We can't do it alone.
No. And is there give us one advantage to therapy, to somebody who really needs to adjust or fix their work on their mental health? Why would therapy be ideal?
Therapy is ideal. You are better able to cope through life. I can say that. You're better able, as I said before, decisions are important. Just getting up in a morning and be able to know there is purpose and your overall well-being, you feel supported, you feel strengthened. you know for sure that you're not alone on the journey, that's fantastic.
Yeah. Would this conference become an annual thing? Can we expect it every year?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. This is one way we would help break the stigma, and it's one way we will help to normalize mental health in our country on a daily basis. You see people struggling to cope. You see it on social media. You hear the daily news. You read reports of persons feeling very hopeless and not able to cope through life, and so many circumstances surrounding it. And so we want to be able to have this annually, so it will be part of our culture.
Yeah.
As I said, it will just be something normal that people look forward to every year.
Yeah. So in terms of the tickets, and the tickets are early bird 400, yes. And you can get that up until September 11th. Yes?
Yes. Let me repeat that. So your tickets are available. You can visit psychologytt.org. That's our website. Contact the Trinidad and Tobago Association of Psychologists. Visit the website and you will get a direct link to purchase your individual early bird ticket, $400, which ends on September 10th. And if you miss that date, individual regular price is $500, and of course the group of 4 is $1,700.
Okay, thanks. Thank you so much, Ms. Placide, for joining me on the program and talking to us about this conference, this upcoming mental health conference on Saturday, the 11th of October, 2025, at the Radisson Hotel from 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Thank you. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to bring this conversation to our country, and it is geared towards strengthening networks, as I said, and building a better Trinidad and Tobago, not for now, but for generations to come. And so breaking barriers, building resilience, because every Trinidad and Tobago person deserves access to mental health and a better hope for tomorrow. So thank you so much.
Of course.
And I look forward to seeing you.
Yeah, and we will love to have you back on closer to the event, and talk about the speakers and what more can we expect as planning continues.
Definitely, we would love to be back and discuss the speakers and the entire flow of the program. So I'm holding you to that.
Yes, of course. All right, so
thank you.
Thank you again, and I do hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
You as well. Be safe.
You too. Bye-bye. So that is the Mental Health Conference 2025. Again, it's on Saturday, the 11th of October at the Radisson Hotel from 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Tickets right now are $400. That is the early bird tickets that you can get up until September 10th. You can visit their website for tickets. Did not get I lost the website. I'm so sorry, guys. But yeah, and then tickets after that are $500. There's also group tickets that you can get, a group of 4 for $1,700. I will get the website and we will put it up. Okay, the website is psychologytt.org. So psychologytt.org. You can visit that website for the tickets. All right, so that brings us to the end of our show this morning. I leave you with this. Just one small positive thought in the morning can change your whole day. So I hope this is your positive thought. Just think something light, something bright, and something that will make you smile, and hopefully that ripples down to the rest of your day. So don't forget you can engage with us, leave your comments on our live stream, and reach out to us on WhatsApp at 682-9376. Stay inspired, stay informed, and stay tuned for Sean Michael Small on the hour of 8 o'clock with Talking Points. I'll see you back here again tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.
WESN.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, The Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378 or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
Hi, I'm Claudia.